others see destruction, we see hope.
I I'm through good now for everybody.
Writing.
Oh, now we're coming.
There is a sixth dimension beyond that which is known to man. A multiverse as vast as eternity, as timeless as the Infinity Gems. It is the middle ground between the big two and the indie publishers, between sci-fi and mysticism, and it lies between the pages of the reader's imagination. At the summit of entertainment, the dimension of comics, where a humble service is held. We call this service the Gospel of Comics.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gospel of Comics. I am your host, The Church of Failure, and please tell me you can hear me. Anybody?
I can.
I know you can, but can anybody else hear me?
No.
Anybody?
Give me 1 sec, I'll pull, see if it's coming through.
Okay. Just anything in the chat. Tell me to go fuck myself. I don't care at this point. Okay, good job. Fucking fantastic. No, apparently last night when I cut out after an hour, and then had another hour and a half of, but I am repeating. What about now? Am I still repeating now? Because apparently last night when I reset my, or when Windows decided to update on me against my will, I mean it was literally an assault update. I was violated. I think that I should. How about now? Am I repeating now? Anybody? I hate everything. I'm clear on SJW Spidey's end. What about Ayrton? Everybody can hear Ayrton now, right? I hate everything. Oh my god. I'm apparently echoing. Okay, alright, so so last night we were about an hour into the stream discussing the future of the channel. You can't hear Ayrton at all? You should be able to. He's coming through on the stream end. I've got him set to a different audio channel. Okay, everything's good according to Matt Christie. Alright. Anyway, last night, about an hour into discussing the future of the channel, Windows decided to... He's not right now. Say something, Ayrton. Okay. So, apparently last night, about... Oh, god damn it, they can't hear you? Say something. Let me just... Anything. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put you on cable A here. Say something. Nope. Nope. That's not working. Alright, so, yep. It says you're coming through. Nope. What about now? Say something now.
Alright, testing. Can you guys hear me now? Hopefully. Well, there's a delay.
Yeah, there's about 20 seconds, so we won't know. He just said something for the guys in chat, but basically, when I was doing the Windows update last night, against my will, I basically, the stream kept going, obviously, because I wasn't able to hit in stream. And the update apparently just utterly destroyed all of my audio settings that I had spent the last 2 months crafting and perfecting. And I wasn't even going to drink on the stream tonight because we have a lot to go through with Hickman's X-Men. I don't know that we're going to get to any of it because I'm going to bitch about my fucking computer for at least another half hour.
We should play Matt in so you can bounce your computer frustrations off on him.
I'm a bit loud and have a buzz coming through. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm just install voice meter and tell everybody to go, just tell voice meter to give me my fucking money back. This is bullshit. Let's see here. I'm a bit loud. Let me see. What this? Nope, that's going through my regular microphone. Oh, I know what it is because in my sound settings, yeah, okay. This is a tech stream, you guys. You didn't know it,
I'm a
but
bit loud with a buzz.
Oh yeah, you've always had a buzz.
Oh.
All right, so playback recording headset. We're gonna turn the microphone. So I had to disable my microphone on my desktop. That should help that out a little bit. I have to turn your gate up to kill that buzz that's going on. No, your gate's already up.
Or we could not, Spidey. That's okay.
What was the suggestion?
We can talk about the more book where a woman fucks an eldritch horror.
I think we should. I think we should do that. I think that that's probably where we went wrong, is not talking about those books. My other mic was better. Jeez.
I mean,
can you guys hear me? Can I be heard? That's really all I'm interested in right now.
we'll smooth it out the levels later.
I've done witch horror. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna take a drink real quick.
You guys try. That's fair.
Am I good now, Matt Christie? That's what I'm asking. Because that was going through, I sounded more like a god with my other mic. I've always gone through my headset. What? I don't understand. There we go. But that's just my fucking PC mic picking up, as well as my headset.
That's probably why you sound like a god, because you got the two inputs coming through.
Yeah, but I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to figure out how to get back to where I was on voice meter. Like, honestly, guys, I'm so fucking disgusted right now. Like, if you guys could see me, you would understand. I wasn't gonna drink. I have a scotch now. I'm gonna enjoy a drink of this scotch really quick before I worry about this audio bullshit. Ah, good scotch. Anyway, last night, Windows Update happens. It's an hour and a half before I can even turn my fucking computer back on. Then, I turn it back on, stop the stream, and I'm like, oh, well, I have to go to bed because I have to work in the morning. So I get up, 7 o'clock in the morning. I go to work. I don't get off until 7 o'clock at night. I get home. I start reading Hickman's X-Men. I sit down to my computer. Skype doesn't work. I'm like, okay, why doesn't Skype work? So I go in and I realize, oh, all my audio settings are... That's right, eat myself a Glenlivet Tide Pod. I wonder how many people are going to die, like, boofing those. Because I'm sure it's going to be at least one. Did I ever even send the tweet out that we're live? I didn't. I'm going to send it out now. Fuck it. I'm sending the tweet out now. We're live.
You think only one person's going to die from that?
I'm saying at least one.
I'd say at least 3.
So we're taking bets in the steeple, folks. How many people are going to die from the Glenlivet Tide Pods? Also, anybody that knows how to use Voice Meter, feel free to hit me up. Drink 2 for me, Matt Christie. I understand. Counts as an ass chug. You gotta come in the chat more often, Spidey. You're fun. Anyway, so I get home. I start reading House of X and Powers of X. I sit down to start the show. Nothing's like it was. All of it's just utterly destroyed. So that's going to take some time to get back to normal. It's all good, buddy. That's probably for the best. Just don't even. I'm thinking very seriously about going the optic decay route and deleting it and telling Ayrton that he's just going to get left out on the radio streams going forward. It's really not worth the trouble. It really isn't. But anyway, what do we have? We got about an hour and 15 minutes before Nick Ricada goes online, so it may go a little bit long tonight. If everybody dips out for Racket's stream, I understand. He's got a Pro 2A lawyer on tonight, I believe. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think my Logitech is running either. That could also be a problem. 4 apps are using my microphone. Fantastic.
They said you're coming through just fine.
Yeah, I know, but that means my Logitech settings aren't set correctly. My voice meter setting. It basically means I'm going to be up till 4 a.m. pulling my goddamn hair out tonight, and that's fantastic.
Right.
You have to work tomorrow, I'm guessing, so you're not going to be able to test it with me.
Yes, but I will be home around like 4:30 or 5. So
that's not going to help me at 4 o'clock this morning.
Well.
Anyway, we are here to talk about Hickman's X-Men, and with the audio issues, I was not able to get the issues queued up to show them on screen, which is kind of a tragedy. I do have some of them that I could probably pull up, but we have gone through the first issue of House of X and the first issue of Powers of X on this show previously, and we did kind of a deep dive into those. Now that all of them are out and I'm reading through them, I've kind of been sucked into the story. Like, honestly, if I wasn't able to get Skype working, I would have just gone back to reading them and said, you know what, I'm an idiot, I can't do this right now. But I didn't.
Yeah, it really does suck you in, like, really, really well.
Right. And essentially, they do it by retconning a character, Moira McTaggart. She's been around. A lot of people's first interactions with her are actually probably going to be the X-Men animated series. She was Charles Xavier's confidant in in the X-Men animated series. She was a scientist and a student. Now, she was first created, however. Also, Novel Bro, you'll appreciate this. She was born Moira Kinross, and she is Scottish as fuck. Um, she, let's see, what was the publication? She first appeared in 1975 in Uncanny X-Men number 96, and she was a major supporting character in Claremont's Uncanny X-Men run. She's a geneticist. She worked in mutant affairs. She was romantically involved with Charles Xavier. But this story kind of supersedes that and retcons her as a mutant with the power of reincarnation.
But reincarnating to her same life.
Right. SJW Spidey, tweet that at me.
my first waifu. She would be novel, bro. She would be.
But no, tweet that at me, SJW Spidey. I'd DM it to me or whatever. I'm interesting. Red Gaze and Tug's wife are also on. It's pretty awful over there. What? Oh, I don't know anything about that. But in any event, no, they retcon Moira as a mutant with the power of reincarnation, and like Ayrton says, it's not really a reincarnation in the sense of you die and you continue going on in the same timeline. She gets to live her own life over and over again with the knowledge of everything that's happened in her life. Now, I haven't gotten
really
to the... Don't spoil it, and I haven't gotten to the end of the series yet. Lola has the personality of a crusty rock. A crusty sock. Ooh. That's rough. But I don't know. I very few streams that I watch besides Nicky Rackets and the Kill Stream these days. So I'll just take your word on it. But no, Moira McTaggart reincarnates into herself, so she wakes up in her second life. She's sentient in the fetus, or in the womb rather, as a fetus, and it's kind of weird, and it's a lot to suspend your disbelief on that because every future life beyond that,
it is kind of Groundhog Day.
Yeah, and that's kind of how they play it, and you don't get that from the first two issues. That was one thing that I didn't quite understand when I read the first two issues, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think they really dove into it till
the second issue of House.
Issue 2? Yeah.
And House of X is more exposition, whereas Powers of X is more of the action staging and stuff that's going on. What the fuck? Get out of my head, Hickman.
Get out of my head.
Look, man, you gotta quit posting stuff on forums. He's stealing. He actually got accused of stealing that storyline from another show. Or another book, actually. That was kind of a big Twitter controversy for a little while. But they go through and they explain how basically in the current timeline that we're seeing, Moira's on her 10th life, and she's basically been told by a mutant named Destiny during her 3rd life that if she did everything right, she'd have a maximum of 11 lives. And, they say that her 11th life will either be one of just being a normal human, or she'll be killed as a child and never manifest her mutant ability, thus ending the cycle. So once you get past that, everything else kind of starts to fall into place. You see a timeline where she's just a normal person, happily married, dies of heart failure at 74. And then the cycle begins. She interacts with Charles Xavier. She realizes that, she can't fall in love with the man that she married in her first life because, she knows all of his flaws. She knows the ending of that, that storyline, basically, so she can't go through with it again. So the two kids that she has in her first life never exist in her second. She starts excelling because obviously she knew how to read, write, speak, and all of that good shit when she died, so she came back into the world knowing it. And then from the majority of her lives after that, she becomes a scholar where she starts studying the mutant genome and gets, very well, I don't know, very well connected with Charles Xavier in most of them. Uh, at one
There's
point,
one where she
yeah,
kind of hates him, though.
oh yeah, yeah, one of the earlier ones, she hates him and she becomes an anti-mutant. That's her third life. And during
Yeah.
that third life is when she encounters Destiny, and Destiny has Pyro, the mutant, burn her alive slowly in order to reset her clock and tell her, like, you need to go about helping mutant kind, or, else you're not going to make it, chick, because you and I are connected now. And that's the last we see of Destiny for the first 6 issues of this 12-issue series. I don't know if Destiny comes back up. You've read it all, Ayrton. What do you like? Does
Yeah.
Destiny come back
Not
into?
not as like a major player like that. I think really the role there was to kind of explain like Moira's mutation and stuff in that instance.
Okay,
I think
and
that was really
basically, and explain why she's set on the path that she is.
right. Yeah.
Because then you get kind of the hyper, the hyper stream of mutants exist, Moira. Disgusting. Well, after that, you kind of see like a flash forward into her next 6 lives, and
I have to say real quick, I love when he types in his accent. Cracks me up every time.
oh yeah, it's
Anyways,
fantastic. But no, you have basically a hyper, I don't know, a hyperdrive through her next 6 lives where the majority of them she gets in league with
like
Charles
a
Xavier.
Rocky, like a Rocky Balboa fight montage.
Right. And she becomes involved with Xavier, and the majority of them they proceed to try and make mutant kind a better, more safe place. And usually within her lifetime, there's always the instance of Sentinels and Nimrod and just basically mutant extinction. Always on the
The
prefaces
the mother.
of. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the creation of the mother mold, master mold. I
Well,
think it's mother mold.
just AI in general. Like she discovers
Yeah,
that AI isn't an invention; it's a discovery. It
yeah.
it's kind of a constant.
Inevitability.
Yeah, it's a constant. It's going to happen. It just depends on who does it. Because one of her lives, she spent taking out everyone who usually discovers AI in the Sentinels, and then somebody else just does a little later down the line. During one life, she gets in league with Magneto. During another, she goes like radical and gets involved with Apocalypse. And Apocalypse basically puts her in cryogenic stasis until he can get the information that she needs to stop Nimrod from being created. And that's one of the lives that we see her in most recently, because in this current iteration is how we get back around to the idea of Krakoa, which we talked about in the previous episode.
Yeah. Now, have you gotten to kind of that brief history of Krakoa yet, and where you've read to?
I read all the way up to Powers of X #3, so I don't think so.
Oh, okay. No, that's
But what we know about Krakoa in the first half of the story is that it is a sentient landmass, so to speak, of several hubs created from the growth of flowers, of all things.
yeah. The flowers are basically quantum entangled portal. Anything from Krakoa is entangled to itself, so it's constantly in its own presence, no matter where it is.
Right. And
more.
it's sentient in the sense that you can't go into Krakoa without permission or being a mutant, basically. All mutants are welcome to pass through any gateways, but and it's not just on Earth. Like
Yeah.
there's and I will say that there is a lot of interesting parts in this where you can kind of look at it and go, okay, is this kind of an allegory? Like, are we seeing Hickman come out as kind of an SJW a little bit? And I really hope not. But more on that at the end of the story because there's some parts. Like first off, um, one of the key moments where the beginning we actually saw it in the first issue. One of the ambassadors for humankind comes out and tells Magneto that basically he sounds like Hitler, and he's like, "Yes, I know, and it feels so good." And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Hickman? Stop.
Yeah.
There are a couple of other moments like that as well. I'm not really sure what to think of it, but okay. Word. Yeah, I'll pull that up and screenshot it. We'll definitely talk about that on This Week in Comics because I'm not a big fan of Liefeld. I don't, I don't know why, but he's got me blocked on Twitter. Um, it may have something to do with the fact that I told some of his fans to lay the fuck off of Ethan Van Sciver for being half a year late and pointed out that his book was 6 years late. I don't see why that would make him block me or anything. It's not like it's not facts. But, you know.
Did you use a word that starts with the letter C?
Only when I said that Bill Gates cucked me with the Windows update recently.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever called Liefeld a cuck directly. I should, though, because he blocked me on Twitter. Like, I mean, you're free to block anybody, but I feel like, if you block somebody without them ever interacting with you, you should be able to call them a cuck.
I would agree with that.
But, anyway, let's not get too far off topic here. You're wrong, Hickman. You fired. Fantastic. But, Krakoa is introduced. Yeah, and I get it. I do. I'm responding to SJW Spidey in the chat. He's one of the nicest dudes I've met in person. Yeah. I'm disappointed he blocked so freely. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. You're free to block people if they're bothering you. I feel like Liefeld just does block lists, though, and one of those block lists is probably Ethan Van Sciver. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But, no, you get a rundown of Krakoa and a basic, idea of what it is. And it seems to kind of be somewhat of a constant. Because and I haven't fully pieced this together yet, but it feels like they're trying to point out that Krakoa has existed in multiple timelines. But I couldn't really grasp that because there's a creature in the Apocalypse timeline that is of Krakoan in nature, and he can open up portals in and of himself. Like at first I thought that was Groot, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
But
yeah, it's not really made clear, like, where Krakoa, if, like, it's just in this particular timeline, that's not exactly made clear. There's some weird... The ending's super ambiguous, but kind of cool. I won't spoil it. That it suggests that it might be a constant, but it's not really made clear.
Well, we'll finish up checking it out. Well, thanks for stopping by, SJW Spidey, the good one.
Thanks.
Have a good one, buddy. kicks fence so Hickman's rectum feels every. No, we're talking about quarter pounder. Quarter pounders on the fence. And don't get me wrong, I love the quartering. I don't take anything away from the quartering. I used to love his Magic the Gathering content, and I was fully behind him when he got banned. But he does have some milquetoast takes on some things, just like I do. I don't deny it. I have definitely stayed neutral on a moving train once or twice when I could have taken a stance, but what does it matter? I'm just some dude who reads comics. But the quartering,
and sometimes it's not worth it.
He makes his entire presence about being divisive and anti-SJW and whatnot, and then he just has these milquetoast takes on certain things, and it's just really weird. It's kind of like if Mundane Matt tried too hard and had a nice beard. But again, I mean, if that's what you want to do.
The quartering released a book on Amazon.
No, he hasn't. He lost a fight with a tranny. I don't even think he participated in that fight. And yeah, that is about the time that I start watching him. That's true. Fence sitting's more of a Walder Frey, we're going to show up and back the victor kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah,
I stay neutral between the EVS and the Doug stuff because I like both those creators, and neither one of them have been an asshole to me directly. I really don't feel like I need to pick a side between two grown men and having a fight. But, when a man in a dress punches another man with a beard, I feel like I can laugh at that.
That's true. You can.
Anyway, back to Krakoa. I don't think that they give you any definitive idea of the origins of Krakoa, but just to kind of rehash the previous episode, the flower that basically grows the gateways and creates the habitats can also be synthesized into drugs for humans. And one of those drugs increases the lifespan. One of those drugs clears up all diseases of the mind. And another one of those drugs is like a super powerful adaptive antibiotic. When a man in a dress punches a man in the beard, how much soy is lost? Ooh. I don't know. Does Shane Holmberg have a beard? We could test this theory. You get Ron Toye in a dress and get Shane Holmberg to grow a beard. We could do a controlled experiment.
We do, but we would need to measure the ambient soy radiation before and after.
And see, that's really, you'd have to have a controlled environment in that, because see, if Ron Toye punched Ty Beard, then the beard would just, exterminatus Ron Toye in Minecraft.
Yeah.
But, if Shane Holmberg had a beard and Ron Toye punched him, it would be like soy dividing by 0.
True. Matt, it was rhetorical. What did you expect us to do when you bring up a question like that? Of course we're going to go on a 5-minute discussion about it.
But, no, so that's why the ambassadors were there in the first place, and they were accusing Magneto of being
Israel.
Yes, in Jerusalem.
Yes, in Jerusalem.
Which Magneto was compared to Hitler in and accepted it and embraced it. That's probably one of the only parts of these 6 books that I've read so far that I just didn't like. There were a couple of points where I was just like, is this soy seeping through? I can't tell if this is soy seeping through, but it very well might be. And I really don't want to believe it, because it's Hickman, and I love him. I do. Another issue of East of West came out this week. I was so fucking excited. You guys have no idea how excited I was about issue number 43 or 47 of East of West. I don't remember which one it is because I'm not looking at it. Also, side note, my Alternaween stash came in today. So a bunch of
Nice.
sick children will be receiving some comic books this Halloween. Probably some candy as well if they will give it to them. I usually try to avoid candy because most hospitals don't want to do that. But thanks, Peter Cimetti, for making that possible. 50 all ages comics of assorted varieties with a calendar, a poster, a trading card, and a pen. And the calendar is printed like a comic book too, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So just Peter Cimetti, Alterna Comics shout out. But that came in today, so I'm super excited about that. As some of you know from my Discord, I spent a childhood Halloween in the hospital, and it'd be an interesting evening to say the least. But don't. Oh, F for Shane's chair. Yeah, let me throw a F for Shane's chair in chat. If I ever start grifting, I'm gonna grift some money in efforts to liberate Shane's chair. I'll get him one of those exercise balance balls that he can sit on. It doesn't have the leather coating on it. But
the ones that pregnant use that puts less pressure on their uterus.
Yeah. But
Okay.
Anyway, back to Krakoa. But basically, Nimrod.
Yeah, there's a lot of time jumping.
There is, and it's a little confusing at this point. Like, I'm not sure where everything takes place in conjunction to what yet. I'm guessing that becomes more and more clear the further you get into the series. But at where I'm currently at, about halfway through. Yeah. About halfway through, I'm little for a Halloween when my childhood, and luckily some friends and family went trick-or-treating for me. But I've kind of always known what it was like to be stuck in a fucking hospital on a holiday like Halloween, where you're supposed to be dressed up and having fun and all that good stuff. And ever since then, I've tried to give back. I didn't have a fever at that point. I was actually hit by a car waiting on the school bus.
You've told me. Sorry.
Yeah, I not to one up Matt Christie. I've never had a fever so bad that they had to put me in an ice. But I got hit by a car, and I spent weeks in the hospital and had to learn how to walk again and all that bullshit. It was right around Halloween, and then the following fucking year I had to have knee surgery, and I had to learn how to walk again. And you want to know what some bullshit is? Try being a kid and learning how to walk 3 goddamn times.
You're an overachiever.
Yeah, well, you can't play fucking football because your high school finds out about your medical records and they're like, nah, fuck you. But no, I saw the Alternaween came back around, and I was just like, let me go ahead and get some comics to drop off at the local children's hospital around Halloween for the kids that are there. So good on Peter Cimetti for doing Alternaween. Support him every chance you get. Pick up some Alterna comics. But
yeah, I need to do another Alterna haul here soon. There's some cool stuff coming out.
Oh. Anyway, getting back to the book. There's a lot going on with time jumps. So you have Year Zero is what they call it, X-Men Year Zero. And that's like from what I can tell, it's modern day. Like it's current time.
Yeah.
It's what we're seeing. in the beginning of House of X is X-Men Year Zero. Broke your back and neck when you were 15, spent 4 years in physical therapy learning how to walk. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
God damn. Jeez.
One of these days, I'm going to be as cool as Matt Christie. Jesus
With his
Christ.
fucking spaceship of a
Yeah.
computer he's building.
Yeah, with his marijuana liquor and his spaceship of a computer, weapon of mass destruction, and his broken neck. Motherfucker doesn't even walk. He just levitates at this point. But,
Sounds like
Yeah.
an origin to a supervillain.
then you have X-Men 10 years. Let me pull my issues up so I can not fuck this up. Where's my...
Yeah, it's.
I've completely and utterly lost all semblance of organization in the quest for alcohol. So let's see what I got here. All right, what was that? Powers of X number 1 that they kind of went through the years.
I'm checking. I think so. I have my stack of all my issues sitting next to me.
Number 1 or number? It was number 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we have year 1, year 10, year 100, and year 1000.
Right. So you've got year 1 is essentially your Charles Xavier, the dream that you see, and then year 10 is your Charles Xavier who can walk, and his Matt being compared to an M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong Street Pope character. Year 10 is your current House of X, Xavier, where Krakoa is being completed. Year 100 is the apocalyptic timeline, it seems, and I'm not sure where we fit into year 1000. Some interesting shit happens. Or in year 1000, like you're in the archival library of Nimrod the Greater or whatever, and mutants are essentially the dominant species, and they actually have like habitats for humanity to basically be savages like Adam and Eve walking around in leaf loincloths and shit. So,
Which don't we all want to do that?
what are you talking about? That's all I wear when I do these shows. That's why I don't put the camera on.
That's fair. And actually, those beings that you see, I think those are actually, it's the other way around. It's actually humans that have integrated with technology. If you look at Powers of X, it says year 1000 Ascension.
Mm-hmm.
It's a merging of man and machine. Those are actually mutants in that habitat. So you actually got it backwards.
Oh, is it? Okay, so I
Yeah,
misinterpreted that.
And
I thought it
so
was...
did I when I read it first.
Okay.
But that actually plays a really that's actually kind of a big point the end of this run.
Well, at some point, the machines inevitably win every conflict that come about, and they usurp human and mutant evolution, and they just subvert the species and basically lead to extinction. So we find out in the first couple of issues that there is an off-world. Are those mutants? Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't blatantly say it, and from the appearance of this creature, I would just assume that was a mutant having a conversation with a computer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's done. It's done really, really well.
So, you have some
major
feedback. Yeah, it's buzzing for some reason. I don't know why. It's always done that though.
Weird.
Take your microphone out and like put it back in.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna be smart and actually mute myself.
There you go. So while he's doing that, of all these timelines, like they all revolve around Moira McTaggart, and McTaggart is essentially,
Oh.
is still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Take the headset out. Just take the headset out completely and just talk into your iPad like you used to.
Oh, I've always used a headset. It's just
Okay.
a different one than what I used to use. I can swap them though. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
It'll take me a sec.
Okay. So, again, while he's doing that, Moira McTaggart is the focal point of this story. Her mutation and revelation. And through all of these timelines, you're jumping back and forth, and, there's a specific reading order which is actually given to you in the back of each book to explain how this story is supposed to unfold, which kind of makes me wonder why. I could still hear it, Matt. But we'll see. He did mute himself. That might have been what it was. But one thing that you constantly see is that, mutants are always subverted. And at one point during that subversion, mutants are essentially harvested and created. I just closed my Discord. I wonder if that's what was going on. I wouldn't think so. We weren't in voice on Discord. I actually have to shut my Discord down before I do the show because, again, it eats up just entirely too much bandwidth.
How's that?
Much better.
Okay. So it must be something with that headset.
Yeah, it might be the fact that you're wearing a microphone headset next to an iPad with a microphone on it. Remember that one time that I Skype called while I was sitting at my laptop?
Oh yeah, and it got all weird.
Yeah, and it just made everyone deaf and hate me.
Like that.
So, at a certain point, they start growing mutants, and some of these mutants are literally bred to betray their own kind, which is, kind of a big deal in the storyline. But where I'm at in the middle of the story, we've gotten to a point where they're going to essentially subvert and try and stop the mutant uprising, or the machine uprising. The mutants are, and in order to do this, they have to go to a space station called Soul's Hammer and destroy what's called a mother mold, which is a master mold for master molds. For those of you unfamiliar with X-Men comics, a master mold is a giant sentinel that creates sentinels, and a mother mold is a master mold capable of creating master molds. And it's of the mother mold that the Nimrod nanotechnology is said to evolve from in every timeline. So what I'm seeing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but what I'm seeing is it feels like at this current point the storyline is taking us into a expectation subversion. Yeah. It's taking us down a path of all of these different lives that Moira McTaggart has lived has basically been an effort to stop the Nimrod evolution. Because in one, you actually
more or less.
In the one where she aligns with Apocalypse, Apocalypse has pulled his four horsemen together, one of which is Wolverine and one of which is Zorn. And the entire purpose of that lifetime, which is supposedly depicted in the year 100 timeline, is Moira is put into basically cryogenic suspension long enough for Apocalypse to gather this information and give it to her. And then Wolverine basically mainlines the information into her head via a crystal and the suit she's wearing, which was really fucking cool. But then once he affirms that she has the information that she needs, he puts his fucking claws through her gut. And he's like, you know what I have to do now? And she's like, yep, get it done with.
Yeah, so basically, she's been strategically finding these different timelines to try and figure out the best solution to stop the ascension, basically, where the nanobots, they basically they infect humanity, and then like the Nimrod, like hive, whatever they call it, basically eventually like takes over the host brain.
The Nimrod world mind, or the Nimrod phalanx.
Yes, the phalanx.
And it's all broken down. Next stream, what we'll probably do is, I guess we'll probably do a full recap on Sunday when I have all the audio fixed. Because tomorrow we have a guest on to talk about the comic that I mentioned yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Bric-a-brac. But Sunday we can finish this up, and I'll be able to pull up, because the way they do the exposition in this book is utterly fantastic. I'll see if I have an issue that I can pull up to just explain it in case you guys missed it last.
Are you talking like the scientific, like white paper, like CIA? Yeah. Like it. Yeah, it's so cool. I think just about every issue.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull up
not
House
every
of X
issue.
one.
That's probably one of the coolest ones. Honestly,
I'm just gonna pull up House of X #1 just so I can put up an example of what's going on.
Yeah.
Like here we have the flowers of Krakoa. Let's see here.
Find that one. I think it's after. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, so it has what each drug does for humans, then also and then what they do for mutants as well.
Right. And now, does this coded language ever do you ever understand any of it?
Basically, I mean, I think it's in issue 4 of House of X.
Okay.
Kind of talks about basically, that's the language that the island speaks, and
right.
Professor X drops the mutant Cypher off on the island and just has him live there and commune with the island for several months to learn the language, and then they just implant it in every mutant psychically that comes to live on the island. They just plant that language in there, so it doesn't play a major role. It just kind of
it's great for the aesthetics.
We have our own. Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. But yeah, it's kind of we have our own. We're making our own countries with our own laws. This island has its own language, so we're going to adopt it.
We're gonna make our
sort of building.
Yeah, we're gonna
building
make our
a
own
mutant culture.
Yeah, we're gonna make our own culture now with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, basically, it's kind of how it is. So, yeah, the language doesn't play a major role.
I remember in the beginning
story, but the aesthetic is really cool.
Yeah, I remember in the beginning of the story, Warlock was actually was it Warlock? I think that's his name. The oh, God damn it! I hate having to look stuff up on air. Make sure I'm thinking about the right guy. but
in
I
issue
believe
one,
it's
or
yeah, yeah. I am. It's Warlock, the guy with the yellow and
oh, okay.
black arm.
Oh yeah, okay.
Uh, yeah, he and the island are supposedly the only people that can speak that language on in his particular hub, and he's just like having a blast figuring it out. but but yeah, so far halfway through, like I'm super engrossed in the story. Now I have heard from a reliable source that is my trusty co-host Eric McCartney that the ending of the series is kind of weird and it leaves you kind of feeling strange. Without spoiling
Yeah.
anything, can you explain why that is?
Well, it's kind of like a like it ends like it wraps up kind of like this. There is a single plot thread that starts to really take shape, more and more so. And you've already touched on it, kind of like Moira's story.
Yeah.
Um, but the ending, like it completes all of that, but it doesn't entirely feel finite. But I think that's done on purpose because there's a whole new like ongoing series or several ongoing series coming out, the Dawn of X,
Right. Right. This
and
is the
stuff. So
beginning of a
I think
massive
that's
line wide reboot. I think Hickman's staying on board for Dawn of X, isn't he?
yes, he is. So we have actually a continued reading order actually at the end of Powers of
Six.
X 6.
Okay.
So yeah, Dawn of X, and then X-Men 1, Marauders, Excalibur, X-Force, New Mutant, and Fallen Angels will all be coming out over the next several weeks.
Okay. Well, before we get into those, we have to do Age of Apocalypse. I hope you understand that.
Yeah, and I'll probably at least get the first issue of each of these. I don't know if I'll follow. I'll probably, depending on which one continues this story going forward, I'm assuming Dawn of X is going to be the closest to it. But
You made me racist window update, and I'll make my own Fallout with spaceships and hookers. That's my life goal, is to make my own Fallout with spaceship and hookers. But no, so far this is a superbly engrossing story. It's a little bit difficult to follow in the beginning, but if you follow the reading order now,
yeah, which is so confusing. I accidentally bought one issue twice because I got confused which one was coming out.
right? Well, and that's one thing that I was kind of curious about. Like, from what I can tell, this would have served just the same as a 12-issue maxi series, as opposed to two 6-issue miniseries.
Yeah, I could see that. It is. I do like how it's broken up though. Like
Yeah,
in House, I know you know in House of X you're gonna get X, Y, and Z from the story, and in Powers of X is going to be kind of like the time jumpy, like weird sci-fi stuff, whereas House of X is more of like the what's actually going on,
yeah,
like in our
but
current timeline. So I like how it made that part a little bit easier to follow, as opposed to if they just kept jumping back and forth and like through with one title. Like obviously it would have been easy to pick up after some time, but I think dividing the two like presentations made it a little bit easier with how convoluted the story is.
Matt, I would say that there are only 3 people watching because it's a Friday night, which is not a night that we normally go live. We had so many fucked up audio issues in the very beginning of the show, and I mean, I don't know. I try not to speculate too terrible much, but knows? Maybe more people will come in. More people will watch the replay once people start getting used to us being here on Friday instead of Wednesday. And that's not concrete, set in stone. Wednesday just isn't working out for us lately because Jim always does a fucking stream on Wednesday, it seems. And not to take anything away from Jim, but how can you compete with some guy that starts off with 10,000 people waiting to watch him? You're just like, just might as well not go live. I'm just going to watch Jim with everyone else.
Right.
So
we just stream snipe him.
That's right. I've had worse ideas. I'm not sure how we can tie it into comic books, but we'll figure out a way.
We'll just put a little corner, like a picture-in-picture, just up in the corner of our screen, and we'll just continue talking about comic books, but you'll just see what's going on in his stream up in the corner.
Right. And ours will be closed captions while all you'll actually hear is Jim.
Yeah. There we go.
Right. Seems good. Seems like a good way to take something away from Jim. Exactly. Like there's no point. Like go to sleep. Just go to bed. Now I've thought that instead of Fridays we might do Tuesdays. If Fridays don't work out too well. Because Friday people are going out, they're drinking, they're partying, they're having a good time.
Right. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do the show. The show will go on.
It always does.
But no, I wanted to at least talk about this in certain regards. Like I said, I only got halfway through it before it was time to go live because my job thinks that I'm going to. Right. But no, my job decides that it's a good idea to just work me to death. I'm pretty sure they want to kill me. No, we're just fucking.
That's just impolite of them.
Yeah, we're just fucking around, Matt Christie. We know. We're not bothered by it. We would do the show if there were no people watching. I think we have before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have.
But no, I don't know. I really enjoy it. It feels like Hickman's writing. I have had a few art complaints though. Like for the most part,
I have some of those. I have some as well. So
I mean, for the most part, the art is good, but there are instances of repeat panels. There are instances of just quickly drawn and not very good panels. And, I mean, the last Marvel that I'm familiar with Hickman from is Secret Wars, and he had Asad Ryback on that. And if you haven't seen Asad Ryback's art, you're doing yourself a disservice. Let me see if I can just find something here.
Yeah, and some of like kind of like in the wider shots instead of like close-ups, there's there can be a lack of detail.
Right.
That's a little jarring sometimes if you go from like a really detailed close-up of a character to a wider shot where like their face is like half the detail that it was in the last panel. It gets a little bit jarring. Oh, thank you so much, Matt. That's awesome.
What?
We appreciate that.
What was that?
He said, just so you guys know, you're the first and only channel that I have supported on Patreon. That is how much you guys mean to me.
It means a lot.
Well, that means a lot to us.
Yeah, it does. We really appreciate you guys being on here. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to continue pushing forward and putting out new stuff and putting out videos on the days that we're not doing streams. Yeah, we did peak, I believe, at 7 concurrents right at the beginning when we did go live, but I think the audio issues was just too much for some people. But still looking for some of Assad Ryback's like splash pages. What was it, Richards? There was a couple of specific panels that I remember just being absolutely gorgeous. Ah, here we go. Here's one. Yeah, you go from something like this. I'll put it up on screen here in just a second. No, I don't want Neonomicon. Please, no. I can't put anything from Neonomicon on the screen. Don't do that to me. So in Secret Wars,
and you guys just had to ask about it in chat, in the Discord chat.
And in Secret Wars 20, well, that was Novel Bro. He did that to him. But in Secret Wars 2015, at New Source, still figuring out Streamlabs OBS. But now, if anybody does do anything through the Streamlabs, it will pop up in the upper right-hand corner of the chat. I can show you how that goes.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. Oh, we gotta put that forward. There we go. That's what it looks like there. A little zombie guy running.
You would come back, Novel Bro, as soon as I say that.
So, in Secret Wars 2015, obviously Doom is the inevitable badass that Doom is, and at a certain point, his authority is challenged, and Doom didn't take too kindly to having his authority challenged. No, sir, he doesn't.
Right.
So he rips Thanos' spine and skull out, and that's just some of Assad Ryback's artwork there. He just reaches into Thanos' chest and pulls his spine and skull out, and just, his body disintegrates around him.
Which is just a gorgeous picture. Hey, how's it going, Blackout?
Oh, what's going on, Blackout? I guess Windows is about to update again now. So Blackout's in the chat. What's going on, buddy? Yeah, it's good to see you. Sorry
what have you done to me?
So, sorry about last night. It really seems like, the technology is trying to get me to Minecraft myself. But I'm still here. I'm still here, in spite of technology. I'm gonna take my robotic liver. I'm convinced that Blackout is actually Bill Gates, and he is specifically cucking me on my own show.
Just because he's bored.
Yeah.
He got tired of trying to feed hungry kids in Africa with AIDS and decided to come fuck with our stream.
Right. I remember the math problem. I was in high school, and they gave us a math problem, and it was based on Bill Gates' wealth, and I hated them so much for it, because it was something like, how many times could Bill Gates drive around the earth if there was a straight road, and he bought the most expensive car that was like several $1 million or whatever? And
what?
Yeah, it was
what
weird.
What was the point of the problem?
It was just a math problem to teach you how to do math with big numbers in your head, basically. And
all right then.
Yeah, so they gave you some absurd amount of wealth that he had in the trillions or some shit like that. My legal team advised me not to confirm or deny that. Motherfucker, get Nicky Rackets in here right now. Get Nick Rackets in here immediately. I'm gonna tweet Keon the lawyer right now. I'm gonna assemble the league of evil lawyers on Twitter. Get Nick Rackets and Keon and Stephen Birch. Let's get anti-law.
You're gonna
Twitter
shine a
up in
light in
here.
the sky. That's a gavel.
Fuck no, that's for judges. When they shine a light in the sky, there's a bottle of Glenlivet. That's how you summon a lawyer.
Pay them in Glenlivet pods.
Right. Yes, that's exactly how I'm going to pay my legal defense team from now on. Because we all know I'm not. We all know that I'm not suing anybody for shit. we all know that I'll never be the plaintiff in the case. I will forever be the perpetual defendant. Well, Mr. Church, it seems here you've been charged with every crime known to man and some that aren't. How do you plead? Guilty as fuck, Your Honor. And I'd do it again if it wasn't for the... go ahead.
I was gonna say, I asked a lawyer once. You know when they like do like a swear in, right? Like, do you swear to tell the truth? Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I asked him. I was like, "What if you just said no?" Right?
Yeah, I mean,
like, what would they do?
Something, it's kind of like when you get called to jury duty and you're like, "Yeah, I hate humanity, and I'm like 10 minutes away from going postal." They just pretty much have to. They just pretty much have to dismiss you from jury duty at that point.
Well, it was funny. He kind of looked at me. He was like, "You know, I was a court clerk for years as I was going through school, and I don't know what I would have done if somebody would have said no when I was swearing them in."
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Nah, fam. I think not, sir. You can only trust a liar. Probably. I think that's the best one. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Probably. Unless I think of something better to say or funnier.
Neither of us should ever be in front of a jury. We'd be hanged. They don't even do hangings anymore.
They would for
They'd
us,
bring it back
goddamn.
specially. Yeah, just special for us.
Can we electrocute them while we hang them? Is that a thing?
You know, I bet there's a case of that happening somewhere.
Lightning never strikes. How would you use that? You swear to tell the truth? Nah, I'm good. But anyway, no, this is to get back to the point that I was trying to make. The artwork in this book is just it's not as polished as Rebecca's work. And I say not as polished, I mean this still has a sketch feel to it, but the books themselves are just so utterly beautiful. Like, they're just so gorgeous to read.
Yeah,
I mean, you
I'm
have
suspicious
situations
that it might have a little bit to.
Go ahead.
Oh, I think it might have a little bit to do with the real tight, like set time schedule for the releases.
Like,
I bet it has something to do with it.
You get some pages like this, and this is the first issue, so I really don't think there are a lot of like bad artwork moments in the first issue. But as you get into some of the second and third issues, like, you get, like, it almost seems like you get stick figure faces on some characters sometimes. Like, I distinctly remember one of the dead characters having, like, beady dots for eyes.
Yeah, that actually happens in the first issue. It does a cut from a close-up of Xavier, and then like goes to a wide shot of both him and Moira on the bench, and he has just like dot eyes, and it's really weird.
Right. So, is that House or Powers?
That's House of X.
Oh, in the beginning?
Like the very beginning.
No.
I think
It's Powers
or not,
of X.
or not the beginning. Is it Power?
Yeah, that's the one where they're
I don't know.
together
Wherever.
there.
Oh yeah, it is Powers of X. Yeah. This when they're at the sideshow.
Let's see here. Do I have it in here? I don't. I don't have it in here. I'm a terrible human being.
Oh well.
Is it in there? Nope. It is not.
Have to figure out
Yeah, I don't have a
when we
digital
did our.
copy on my. Yeah, I don't have the digital copy on my computer. I've been reading it on my iPad. What are you gonna do?
Ah. Yeah.
But no, all in all, like I said, I'm hooked into this. Like I'm gonna definitely finish it. It's not something that I looked at and I was just like, eh. It doesn't degrade. It fluctuates. There are just some panels where it's just not as good.
Yeah. Like I said, it feels like the time constraints. They kind of rushed. Like, okay, we can cut this corner here,
Right.
and
And
that's how it comes across to me. But because this was probably one of the most hyped like series to come out of Marvel this year, right?
Inbrecht in the Discord just added a GIF, I believe. I don't believe it's a video, but it's a GIF of a heat-seeking a heat-seeking.
What is this?
It's a heat-seeking briefcase that turns into a blue shell and chases a guy down on a jet ski. I'm not sure why he put that
Are
there.
you gonna Matt, can you make your computer do that? Because that would be fantastic.
No, I just need a
I assume
briefcase
with
that
your
does it.
wizardry you can.
I just need a briefcase that seeks out and destroys people.
That's fantastic.
Excuse me. But, yeah, I don't think, like, in Secret Wars, the books were delayed, like, sometimes by weeks and months, just so that, the art schedule wasn't rushed. And,
Yeah.
on this one, they were on a very tight, Einbrecht is a fucking hero. But on this one, it just seems that they were on a very tight 1 week release schedule. Like, I'm pretty sure all of these books came out in the span of 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that there was a missed week between one coming out, was there?
No. Every single week.
So, and I'm just looking here, but
Yeah, like I said, they had the reading and
You've got
release
your-
schedule on the back of each one. This
got
was like super hyped.
you got your House of X #1 in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is the artist? Because obviously Hickman's the writer in all of this.
Let's see.
In Powers of X #1, it was R.B. Silva.
Yeah, Pepe Larraz.
Pepe the Frog?
And then
Pepe the Frog did
Yeah.
House of X?
Yeah. No, Larraz. Larraz.
Pepe the Frog. Yeah,
And
I heard
then,
you right. The meme frog.
and then the colorist was Marte Gracia, not Garcia, Gracia.
Yeah.
And then letter by VC's
And then designed by Tom
Clayton
Muller.
Cowles. Yeah.
Okay, so... And then Silva and Gracia both did the cover as well. So, again, we have another instance, and I didn't even really take that into consideration because there were so many variant covers on some of these. But I didn't really take into consideration that
So annoying.
this was something that was...
Sorry.
Well, this also followed the model of Cyberfrog, and I brought this up. I need to do another one of those polls. I've got a few more questions I need to ask before I can do my kind of analysis of what people like in comics and don't. I just kind of got sidetracked being fucking slammed at work. Slammed like a $2
Yeah.
whore, ladies and gentlemen. 12 to 16-hour fucking days. But I'm supposed to sit at a desk in the air conditioning. But no, fuck me. 16 years of fucking working my way up in this company, and what do I have to show for it? Goddamn nothing. But not to bitch too much, of course. But one thing that I was talking about with Cyberfrog that I really appreciated was, when you look at the cover art and you open the book, it's the same experience. Whereas 90% of comics, you buy it based on the cover and then you open it up and it's awful.
Yeah.
So, you got the same kind of experience in these books. And again, we'll have them all up on stream. We may have to do a little bit of a longer show on Sunday to go through everything, because there's some notes I want to take. There are some comparisons to other series, and just from the 6 issues that I've read, you can already pull a lot of influences from the already, established, excuse me, the already established X-Men lore. Obviously, Moira is a Claremont character from the 70s. Obviously, you've got some Survival of the Fittest, Four Horsemen storyline from Apocalypse, which is a repeat. In fact, Apocalypse was actually an accidental character. Like, Apocalypse was never supposed to be created the way he was. And that's a story for another day, like the origin of Apocalypse. But originally it was supposed to be the underworld villain Owlman. Of all people. The sometimes Spider-Man villain Owlman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the DC one, or the Owl, excuse me, not even Owlman. The Owl. The DC villain is Owlman. But Apocalypse was never even supposed to exist, but he was created because of an artist and writer switch. So, but
Interesting.
that's part of the research that I wanted to get done before we went through all of this, just in completion, because I can't really nail down all of the influences. Like, I feel like Grant Morrison's X-Men was kind of an influence here. Claremont, if you're writing X-Men, Claremont is definitely one of your influencers. Like, I don't give a shit who you are. Claremont did Dark Phoenix, which is one of the books that Ayrton wants to read. I think once he starts reading it again, he's going to change his mind, but we'll see. I think he might have
Possible.
Might have rose-colored glasses on for that series.
It's possible. Matt, are you even speaking English in the chat right now?
No, he's speaking wizard.
Okay. I feel like you just put like a hex on us.
No, he's speaking Leet Hacksaws Man.
Ah. Oh, like Hacker Man from Kung Fury.
Yes.
Okay. Matt, can you hack us into the past? Are you that good?
You should be able to. I
would assume he would.
I want to go back and
with that goddamn TARDIS he's building.
Yeah, I want to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Hitler and send him to the Shadow Realm in World War II early.
I want to do shots with Churchill. What do you mean?
You could do both.
I guess.
I mean, he didn't even smoke good cigars. Yeah, at this point, he's not speaking English. But anyway, I think that'll about wrap it up for the first half of this series. I know we went off on a shitload of tangents and whatnot, and we didn't have anything up on screen. I'm going to have to stay up and figure out my fucking audio settings so that we can actually have a decent show tomorrow with our guest. God damn it, Matt!
Oh, come on. You're building a goddamn TARDIS in your garage.
You know, no matter how many times I fuck up and say welcome mat or format or any of those other puns that you've caught me with, I will never ever dishonor you by using any like mundane Matt catchphrases with you, because in any other event when you said you couldn't hack us into the past, my initial instinct was to go, now wait a minute, Matt, no. But I cannot dishonor you like that. I'm a peripheral visionary. I see into the future, but just off to the side. You know, they call
That's
those
fair.
witches where I'm come from, and they burn them. But
Well, and why do witches burn?
why do they burn there?
Because they're made of wood.
Oh, I don't get it.
Obviously. Monty Python quote.
Oh, okay. Man, you gotta forgive me. It's been like 15 years. Ralph pitches through semitone to reach, but I think I can hit it. If my kids weren't asleep, I would attempt the
Yeah.
full quote, but they are, and I don't want to make them scream. Especially 2 minutes.
Yeah, they're
before we
actually
log off.
quiet in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've gotten back on the schedule after everyone's been caught with the plague in my house. Oh yeah, no,
Oh, okay.
it's not about the joke. It's more about a respect thing.
It's
like
the principle.
right.
Yeah.
I can make jokes with you. Hell, I'll make fun of you occasionally. I'm sure, but I will never dishonor you by using a mundane Matt catchphrase on any other Matt. It just all other Matts are great. The floor mats in my car are greater than mundane Matt.
And probably have a better beard.
Oh, they definitely do, because my beard hair falls out and get stuck in them.
Yeah, exactly.
And we all know. I mean, I've got like an 8-foot beard, so I'm on my way to Alan Moore status. I want people to interview me because I'm a wizard.
No,
But,
there we go. We got an interview with Elmer.
what?
I'd probably be terrified.
What are you talking about?
So
You broke up.
if we could get an interview with Alan Moore,
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah.
I would be terrified.
I'm not gonna rule it out, but anyway, Kim Oval. I'm going to. I can grow a ZZ Top beard in less than 6 months. Ooh, a beard off.
Jeez.
I feel a beard off in our future. Maybe once my kids are grown, we'll have a beard off, or at least old enough to handle me shaving and not forget who I am. My 2 youngest have never seen me without a beard. And I've seen those videos.
Yeah, I'm
on
sure it's
YouTube
traumatizing. Yeah.
where it makes a kid cry. I'm not about that life.
I mean, the videos are kind of funny. They're a little twisted and probably horribly traumatizing to the child, but they are kind of funny.
Oh man. Anyway, I definitely appreciate you guys sticking around with us. Your beard is huge. We're gonna have to have a beard docs on the Discord one day.
Jeez.
But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut everything down here. Nick Rackets is likely to be live with his Pro 2A stream here shortly, and I'm gonna attempt to listen to that on my Wi-Fi headphones while I fix my computer settings, because everything is the fucking worst. If I if I just get in the Discord general and start yelling, don't mind me. I just needed to let some steam off.
That's what happens.
Yeah, you just get in the Discord by yourself and just scream into the aether. But Anyway, you guys have a great evening, and we will be back tomorrow night where we will be interviewing Ryan Hack of Bric-a-Brac and talking about his campaign and taking questions from the chat, obviously. So if there's anything you guys want to ask any creators, feel free to just bring it up. We will definitely ask them. We ain't scared.
Oh, no.
I like asking the hard questions to creators because it makes them squirm a little bit. They're not used to it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we might change some of the language if need be, but
I mean, not as much as you would think, I guess. But
well,
in any event,
yeah.
you guys have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow night. Ayrton, I will talk to you tomorrow because I'm guessing you're going to crash out probably immediately.
Yeah,
So
probably.
I will talk to you tomorrow afternoon, and we will schedule a time to record those upcoming videos for next week. Look forward to it, guys.
And good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a good one.